When are adults going to realize that kids sometimes know what they're talking about? If you're a school counselor and a student comes to you and says there's another student who has a so-called hit list that they're going to attack other students in the cafeteria, why don't they take them seriously and act on that information? Because they're woke, they're weak, they're in a position they do not belong in.
Story here this morning. It is an attack a top school official calls deeply disturbing. A student seriously injured during a lunchtime attack in Montgomery County. CBS News Philadelphia anchor Jan Carabeo joining us now with more on the incident. And Jan, last night the school district, they had a meeting where parents and students voiced their concerns. The details here really upsetting.
It became emotional at times, as you can imagine. Janelle, good morning. By all accounts from students who were there during this attack and their parents who got frantic messages from kids inside of the school, what happened at Pembroke Middle was traumatizing. Today, parents want answers from the district. How did this happen? Were concerns taken seriously? And did the district act appropriately in the moments following the incident? Last night, several students who were there during the attack stepped up to speak publicly, with their parents standing right behind them.
The girl who got attacked didn't see it because she was face backwards, and all of a sudden you just hear these terrible, loud bangs of the Stanley bouncing off her head.
Why were kids left in the room that this incident took place while they were cleaning the blood off the floor?
Your worst fear comes to light when you get that call from your kid crying in school, "Mom, help me. I'm scared. There's blood everywhere." You can't get to them fast.
Should not have happened, period. As an educator, as your superintendent, and as a father, I am appalled by what happened. We are currently pursuing the details leading up to this incident and why it occurred. We are also collaborating with our local law enforcement in their investigation as we work to ensure that something like this cannot happen again in our schools. Such behavior has no place in our schools. You expect better, we expect better, and certainly I do as well.
So here we have another case of bullying in school, but this time, thank God, it wasn't a firearm. But still, a student was injured severely after being beaten on the head with a metal Stanley tumbler. We all know what they are, and they are heavy. But here's my problem. That school superintendent said, this should have never happened. The kids need to be safe. Blah, blah, blah. That school knew it was going to happen. Another student went to a counselor and said, this is what's going to happen. This student has an alleged hit list, if you will, that they are going to attack other students. And what happened? A student was injured and had to be transported to the hospital for treatment because the school did nothing. They never do anything. They don't take these warnings seriously. Is it because the student told the counselor this other person was going to hit somebody with a metal cup? I don't know. But wouldn't it be the same thing if someone went to a counselor and said, hey, so-and-so, I think they have a firearm in their backpack? Shouldn't that counselor act immediately, grab that other student, pull him in the office, find out what's going on? Absolutely. That's what it should be. This is just another example of our kids not being safe in a school environment. And some may say, oh, it was only a fight. It was not a fight. There was a student sitting innocently eating lunch, and this other student came up behind this person and started beating him on the head with a metal cup. Why is this allowed? Now, you know me. I got zero tolerance for this nonsense. The counselor, the school superintendent, the teachers, whoever was in that cafeteria as an adult should be held accountable for another child being injured on their watch. And of course, as parents, we expect our kids to go to school and be safe. They have a zero tolerance for bullying, zero tolerance for this or that, so they say. The counselor was warned that this specific student was going to attack someone, and the attack happened. And again, thank God it was not a shooting. Thank God for that. But a metal Stanley tumbler. They're like this big and they're heavy. So imagine you're sitting over a table eating your lunch and someone comes up behind you and starts beating you in the head with it. Of course the other students are traumatized. Of course the student getting hit is traumatized and in pain, while the other student with the mental health condition continues the beating. And the teachers do nothing until after it happens. I believe that all of those teachers, superintendent, counselor, any teacher involved, any teacher there, should be held accountable for that attack because it could have been prevented. They should have called that student into the office after they received information that the student was going to attack someone. And they should have removed that student from school immediately. But they didn't. Because, oh, kids will be kids. You know, kids make threats. Now, let's just say for a moment that a student went to a teacher or counselor and said, hey, so-and-so, I think they have a firearm in their backpack. I guarantee you they would have called the police and they would have immediately pulled that student into the office. But in this case, because there was no firearm involved, they just overlooked it. And some people are calling it a fight. It was just a fight. No, it wasn't a fight. It was a targeted attack on an innocent student simply sitting, eating her lunch. And the superintendent, it should have never happened. We protect our children. No, you don't. No, you didn't. Okay? Of course it shouldn't have happened. You did nothing. And I'll say it again, because these people are weak, spineless men who claim to love their kids. We're going to teach the kids. We're going to educate the kids. But we're not going to protect the kids because we're scared ourselves. That's a big problem in this country. Men are not men anymore. This is the woke liberal agenda of today.